This is a grim winter's day. Whenever I show my YouTube videos in the summer with all these lovely maple leaves, red and green and gold, you think that the world is always nice and beautiful. But I'm going to show you what is called warts and all. That means the other side of the nursery, or the other facet of the nursery, which isn't all that nice. I'm not a person who often feels depressed, but on days like this, it does depress me. Although the picture may come out fairly clear, but I can assure you it is really, really awful. The temperature is barely above freezing, 1 degree, and it's been raining for the last 36 hours, and the nursery is half flooded, and my fingers are freezing cold. And when you look around the nursery, look at all these ugly molehills. I know that there are moles living underneath there, and that's the great big sequoia tree and my silver birch trees. They're all looking pretty forlorn, and we've had a lot of fallen trees too. Great big trees have fallen in the storm, so we've had to get tree fellers in to fell the trees and tidy the grounds up. Just to show you what has happened, I'm just walking towards a tree that has just been tidied up. Great big branches fell in the storm, so this is what we've been doing. So this is the side of the nursery, or the other aspect of the nursery, that you don't often see. And when it's grim and miserable, I'm not inclined to come out to do videos of herons, but I thought I'd just show it to you. I'm just going to take you for a walk around, and let's have a look and see if we can find anything that can lift our spirits. Walking towards these great big garden pines. They've grown so profusely. Last year, 2020, I didn't have the time to go around pruning it, but it's time they were pruned. They're grossly overgrown and in need of tidying up. The space between the branches has almost disappeared, and it's time to restore them to Japanese style bonsai or garden trees. This is the pond where we often take lovely pictures. In the autumn you will remember the brilliant scarlet, but despite the grim conditions, there is a peaceful serenity about the place. So I've just spotted something that might cheer you up, and this is the Nandina bush, or the sacred bamboo. I pruned it quite hard last year. It was twice the height, but despite pruning it, it's still, I would say, almost 5 feet tall. And in the winter we have these beautiful, beautiful berries. I think they're almost as beautiful, if not more beautiful, than the ordinary English holly. There's another Japanese tree that has red berries like this, and that's the Japanese holly. It has red berries, but it's a deciduous tree. So as I said, if you look around, you can find something to cheer our soul. I don't know how the fish survive. There are fish in there. I stopped feeding them from the end of October, so they just live on their own body fat, and by March or April, when the water warms up, that's the time I start feeding them again. I'm now just going to walk into our field growing area. That's the area where we plant our trees, and we are already thinking of what to plant in our fields, because we do grow things in the ground. Growing trees in the ground does hasten the growing process, and I like planting maples in the ground. So this is the area where we cleared half the orchard 3 years ago, so we're getting ready to use this patch to plant our young maples in here, and we leave them here for 3 or 4 years, and hopefully during that time the maples will get thick. This lockdown has been quite grim, and we have a restaurant or pub next to us called the Teemill Inn, and because of the lockdown they've been shut for many months, and I don't know how they survive. But of course the other lovely side of the lockdown is that the lake has been a very quiet place, and it is ever so peaceful. I'm just going to point the camera over my hedge to give you some idea of what lies behind the nursery. Pardon the shaking of the camera, but at least you can get some idea as to what we have. And that is the beautiful lake. The Teemill Lake is a 10-acre lake, and that lake is used for fishing and water sports like water skiing. But when there's no one there, it is absolutely peaceful and quiet. And turning around, this is the orchard. So this is the rear view of our nursery. So we are surrounded on one side, on the southern side, by a 10-acre lake. I wish my property went up to the shore, but at least I can get some view. And the beauty of this place is that everyone can enjoy it. So you must be wondering why all these pots of Scots pines have been blown over. We've had this terrible storm, so the wind has just blown everything right over. I shan't bother to put them back because there are more storms forecast, and until all the storms subside, I will just leave the pines as they are. These are great big procumbens junipers, and I just grow them as ornamental plants. You must be wondering why there is yellow grass here. We do spray some of the grass to kill the weeds, so we do control the grass in this fashion. We do use some herbicide, but not a lot. These are the great big squamata junipers. And these are maples waiting to be made into large bonsai. These are very long-term projects, 20 and 25-year-old trees that have been growing in the nursery forever, and they're only just starting their final part of the bonsai training. These are maples that we grow in the ground. These have been growing here for 4 years from 1 and 2-year-old plants, so already they're about 1 to 1.5 inch thick. So this is what ground growing involves. Now just taking you to another area. I hope the light is good enough. Now these maples have been grown in the ground for the last 15 years, so they are about 3 to 4 inches thick. So there are maples in all different stages of being developed. And these ones are much older trees, but they have been lifted up in previous years, and they will also become bonsai one day. So we don't look for immediate selling. Bonsai is a long-winded process. If you can't stand the long journey, then I don't think you should join it. And in case you're wondering what this is my own privet hedge. We grow privet like this. We keep it trimmed, but we grow them just to get thick stumps. So this is what I mean when I tell you that it's not as pleasant as during the summer, because you don't see the leaves. Everything is looking bedraggled, and it's cold, and my fingers are absolutely frozen. These are the Scots pines. These will all become garden trees. Some people buy them for large bonsai. So what a pity our visitors can't come to the nursery, because during lockdown we've shut the nursery down. But hopefully, if things get better, in the middle of June I may have an open day when we will invite people here, and you can enjoy the place, and you might get a free tree or two. Let's hope for the best. So here's my little tour today, which is the 14th of January, and I hope this will be a nice new year.